All right, in this tutorial, guys, we want to spend some time talking about polishing up our spreadsheet assignment, our M&M data comparison spreadsheet assignment. At this point, if you're watching this video, you've collected all your data, you've organized them into tables, you've created a graph, you've gotten data from other people, you've done some formula work to analyze the information. And what we need to do now is we basically just need to polish up our our spreadsheet here. So let's talk about a few things that we want to do, because here's what we want to get to. We want to get ours to look something like this. Now, it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Your color choices, the things that you do with the titles and the headings up here that we create, you can do whatever you want with it, make it your own style and that sort of thing. But we do want to talk about some general things to get you to that point. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is setting your margin, or setting up your page so you can see your border. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is go down here where it's next to the zoom functions here for your spreadsheet. There's a little button here. It says show or hide print view. We want to turn that on, and notice what it does here now is that it puts in the borders here. Now, what I can also tell by turning that on is that my table is leaking off. Now, before we start moving a lot of things around, let's go into inspector window here. Let's go to the second choice up here, and let's make sure that all of our margins are set to 0.25. If they're bigger, you notice that again you have less room to work with. So make sure that all of them are set to 0.25 over here on the side. If you want to stop a moment and do that, go ahead and do that now. So I have them set right here. So let's make it so that we can get all the information on one page. I don't want stuff leaking off into other pages. Now, you may have to spend some time maybe making your tables and your graph a little bit smaller. And again, remember to use the handlebar view to do that, okay? So that things fit on here properly. And some of them you may have to make bigger, like this one, for example. I'd like this to be a little bit bigger so I have some more room to work with here. So again, use the handlebars to kind of make things work a little bit better for you if need be. Okay? So spacing's important. Give yourself some space. Make sure things are matching. I'd also like to put this graph a little bit closer to the data that we're using to get that. Now, a lot of people ask me about, let's talk about the graph for just a second, about how do I get my colors on my graph to match my colors of M&Ms. For example, if you look at this graph closely here, it's a little hard to see, but brown is actually a silverish color here. So what we want to do is basically go up to this wedge and click on it here. Get the actual wedge itself highlighted. You may have to double click that there. And then what you want to do is go over here into the inspector window, and you want to go to the graphic inspector menu, and you want to go to color fill. Notice right now it's colored as a kind of a gray or silver, whatever you want to call it. Click on that, and then using the various color tools, use what you want to use. Find yourself a brown here, okay? And again, you can use different menus. I'm going to just go ahead and click on this one. And notice that when I change it to brown, what happens to my wedge and what happens in my key for my graph is that it also turns to brown, okay? And so they match, all right? So if I go to the one for yellow here, for example, which I believe is this one, I can turn that into a yellow. And so it matches. So take some time. I know for some people they wanted to do that. Take some time to, make your wedges match, because that's something that would make sense in a graph. All right. Not finally, but the next thing is we really want to make sure that our text matches in our various pieces of information. You notice down here right now, my text is not matching, okay, with what I have above it. So, I may want to take some time here and get things to match in here. So this is supposed to be Comic Sans MS. Size 14. So I'm just going to basically highlight all my cells and make sure they're set to the same thing, Comic Sans MS and size 14. Again, you can choose whatever you want. Notice that my data isn't all centered like the other ones are, so I need to make sure I use my alignment controls, again, while I have it all highlighted. The other thing I have been doing is I've been making my text the same color. So for red, if I want to go through here and make sure that they are set to the same color of red, I'm going to take a moment to do that right now, okay? Although for some reason mine didn't change. Let me try this one more time here. So we get the other ones to set here. May have to play around with it a little bit to get it to go there. But anyway, yeah, go through and make things match, make things look good. The other thing we can take a look at here, notice that Actually, it's looking better now, but if my text is getting cut off here, they got to change the size of my text or somehow make my cells bigger, okay? I also need to maybe think about doing some work with the borders. We should know how to do cell border work now, okay? And using the various menus here to do that with, okay? If I want to put in some different types of thickness of the cells, and that's, or I'm sorry, thickness of the borders rather. I can play around with that a little bit. Okay, we should have some knowledge of that from some of our work, both with our previous table and what we did in Keynote as well. So just kind of play around with that a little bit. Outside edges, again, you got to kind of treat them differently. So spend some time, working that and making it the way that you want it to look here. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's going to, I want you guys to get working. So think about the borders and format that kind of thing. All right, and then finally, guys, we need to put in some text boxes. All right, now again, looking back at this example, and by the way, I'll put a screenshot of this up in with this video when I post this on Emoto. I'll put the screenshot up here as well. Or I don't know if it'll be in Edmodo, it'll be online someplace anyway. But I'll put a screenshot up here with this video so you can kind of see this and see what we have here. We have 3 different text boxes that we need to make sure we have here. So one of them is M&M Color Data Collection Table. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new text box for that. Okay. If you want to use shapes, you can, but I'm going to kind of show you a few things here. M&M, whoops. Just want to use the same title I had, Color Data Collection Table. All right, type that in. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that in here. Now remember, there's lots of different options here of what you can do with this. The first thing is I want to make this bigger, obviously. All right, and again, you guys know I like to use Comic Sans MS, so I'm going to go use that. And again, you can use whatever you want. Is fine, okay? And then I'm going to kind of play around with it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and work on, I can use some of the stroke functions that I'm familiar with. I can change the fill inside there if I want to. Kind of move things around here a little bit. Fill in the background there. Just make it your own. Kind of goof around those things, make your and change the text color if you want. But so I need a title for that, and then I also need a title for this table down here, and again I have that in the screenshot so you can find that. I kind of went goofy with that and made a pretty big title text box there, but you can do whatever you want with that. Again, play around with it a little bit. Notice also though we do have a name for our graph here. Now to be able to change the name of the graph, you just simply double click in here and it should be M&M Data Comparison Graph. Okay, maybe what we should call it is M&M Data Collection. The problem, we'll just leave it the way it is. We don't need to change that. But anyway, go ahead and give that a title as well. Okay, so that has a title, and then create a text box here. And again, we want it to look like this when you're done. And again, it doesn't have to be the same fonts and all that kind of stuff, but it has to have these features because that's what you're being graded on. Okay, so I'll have a screenshot of this for you. It's kind of the final example. Again, use your own style here, guys. You don't have to follow me. Okay, but take some time to get that together, and these are the things that we'll be grading you on. As far as do you have all the elements that you need to have here? Did you take some time to put the titles in? Did you use formulas? That sort of thing are what you're going to be graded on with this. So, all right. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me. But hopefully that gives you some idea of what we're looking for. And again, this is kind of what we're looking to have by the end here. Don't forget this information here too. Very simple. Your name, 7th grade, LT, and then KHMS is perfect there. So, all right. Thanks for listening, guys, and good luck.